Hi, everybody, and welcome to Observing with Webb for December of 2020, where a high school astronomy teacher tells you what you're looking at, why it's so cool, and what you should check out later this month at night. So we have conjunction month for December of 2020. If there is nothing else that you do this month, mark your calendar, get out your warm clothes, get them set aside, and get ready for a very, very rare conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. That is on the 21st, and I'll go into more detail about that coming up. But if you do more than one thing, we have a meteor shower this month and also some good close encounters between the moon and the planets. So welcome, and we're going to get started with the naked eye planets. Before I get going on the planets, I just want to remind you to keep track of the social media for me at PV Planetarium and at Mr. Webb PV, because I'll be doing some live video stuff, hopefully, with some of these events. I'm looking to get some of that going, or maybe just recorded and actually observing. So keep an eye out for that. But let's talk about Saturn and Jupiter first. So as far as planets go, these are the two easiest to find in the night sky right now. And they're about to be gone from our vision until, well, I'd say a couple months into 2021. But they have a glorious finale here. Now, the sunset is about 4:39, at least for people on the 40th parallel. And as the sun sets, you just have to look toward the west-southwest, really more southwest, and you'll see these 2 points of light very close together and very bright, much brighter than everything else around it. And this is on December 3rd right here, but I want you to see what happens over the next couple of days. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, notice they're getting lower in the sky and they're getting closer together. And they keep getting closer together until they pass each other on December 21st. And that's when you're going to see Saturn and Jupiter in the same telescope view. Okay, and I want to get the details on this right now for you. All right, Saturn and Jupiter, they're only going to be 1/10 of a degree apart. That's it. That's 1/10 of your pinky's width at arm's length, right? And it's a very rare event and something that you really need to go out and see. In fact, if you have, I think, 2100 vision, it will actually appear, Jupiter and Saturn will appear to be one star. And that's what you want to be looking for as far as the sunset planets go. Okay? Let's dive right into the event of this, right? So it's the 21st of December, and it only happens every couple of 100 years, let's say. Okay? They're only within 1/10 of 1 degree of each other. And it's pretty much the event of the month, if not the year. They'll be close to each other for most of the month, but closest on the 21st. Here's how you actually go out and see this, okay? First of all, dress warmly, like really warmly. And the reason I say that is because it gets very cold very quick now. I don't know if you noticed, but even at 5:30 p.m., the sun is setting, and it gets cold. Also, look to the southwest. Jupiter and Saturn should be the first two things that you see over there. And they're only about 15 degrees above the horizon, so about that much, okay? And don't waste your time getting out there, though, because the pair sets below the horizon before 7 p.m. So you only have about an hour window to really see this. And you have to make sure that there's no trees or houses or big mountains in your way. You want it as far and flat of a horizon as you can think of. And of course, if you have binoculars, you can probably just make out Saturn's rings and Jupiter's cloud bands, maybe something like that with binoculars. And with a telescope, you should be able to see some pretty good detail like this. And it looks like you'll be able to see Europa, Ganymede, Io, and Callisto in that order around Jupiter. And Saturn, I don't know, you might see Titan and Rhea. I'm not sure. I haven't really paid attention to Saturn's moons. But I do know that in a telescope, these will be easily seen. So you should be able to see Jupiter with 1 moon on one side and 3 moons on the other. Okay, so that's the 21st. That is the sunset planets. So like I said, Jupiter and Saturn will actually set pretty quickly. But those are the sunset planets. But there's another one up there, Mars. Okay, Mars is more throughout the night planet, but it's basically from the southeast to the south to the west. And all you have to do is look southeast after sunset, and it's going to be right up there. Okay? Just looking for the non-twinkling, reddish-looking point of light up in the sky, and it is brighter than everything else around it, so should be pretty easy to find. So I guess you could call that a sunset planet, though it's not off near where the sun sets. And then you got to wait till the morning to see the morning planet, which is Venus. So let me just move ahead to the morning. Man, there's a lot of nighttime. There we go. There's Venus. Okay. And let me go to about 7 a.m. Let me go to the 1st of December 1st. Okay. And let me go back a little bit in time. Mercury, you're not actually going to be able to see that all that much this month. But let's say you get out around 6:30 in the morning. That's when I've been driving to work a lot lately, and you can easily see this. But Venus will be up there, and then throughout the month, it's going to get lower and lower in the sky. Now, luckily, sunrise is a little bit later each day, but basically by the end of the month, by the new year, Venus is basically not all that visible. So you really want to get out there now to catch Venus in the mornings, because it won't be until summer of 2021 that you'll be able to see Venus again. And then it should be an evening star. So again, in the mornings, you're looking for Venus in the southeast. And around sunset or at night, you are going to be looking for Jupiter and Saturn in the southwest, and Mars up in the southeast.
And a bunch of other stuff. And a bunch of other stuff. And a bunch of other stuff.
So what's going on for the rest of the month? Well, let's talk about the moon first. The waning gibbous is that first week because the last quarter moon is on the 7th. The 7th is when it's visible from midnight and into the morning. For that following week, the second week, we've got the waning crescents, meaning the morning crescent. So if you just look out and look to the east, you should be able to see some morning crescent moons. The new moon is on the 14th. That means we can't see it at all. Then you've got the evening crescents if you just look west after sunset after the 14th, from 14th to the 20th, or 15th, 16th to the 20th. On the 21st is the first quarter moon, visible until about midnight. And then the evening gibbous is mostly lit, and it's visible after sunset after the 21st. And then December 30th is the full moon. But what other things do we have going on? Well, we've got some close encounters with the moon and the planets, and we've got the Geminid Meteor Shower. Let me talk to you first let me go in date order. The moon and Venus will be visible on December 12th. And remember, from before, Venus is a morning planet. So if we go to, well, let's see. There we go. After about 5:30 in the morning, Venus and the moon will be very low in the southeast. Okay? Basically, you have between 5:30 a.m. and 7 a.m. to see this, and they should be pretty easy to spot since the moon is big in size, maybe not in brightness, and Venus is actually very bright. Now, so the 12th, remember that? Then the 13th to the 14th is actually the next best thing, the Geminid Meteor Shower. Now, it is a very good year for the Geminids, and I don't really necessarily have something to show you on here except the constellation Gemini, which in the morning is off in the west, and if you go at night, it's there it is, rising in the east. So it's moving from east to west throughout the night. That's where these Geminids will appear to be coming from. And this year is a good year, a very good year. And that's because we have no moon in the sky, so no light pollution, and the peak of the meteors are going to appear basically during our nighttime, which is great. Now, so Sunday the 13th, go out that night. I know you're going to be very tired on a Monday morning, but it's worth it, okay? But you got to take advantage of it because we should get about 100, well, let me put it this way. We have a possibility of getting about 150 meteors per hour. That's about more than 2 per minute. Now that also means you got to have no light pollution around you, but so the more light pollution you have, the fewer you'll see. But just be prepared. How do you be prepared? Well, when do you go? The peak is December 13th. So go out December 13th. All right. Where do I go? Well, find a dark area. Make sure you're away from lights right nearby you. If you can travel, go someplace that's far away from city lights. Also, make sure that you have a nice comfortable chair or a pool floaty, anything to keep you off the ground, because the ground is what will suck your thermal energy away and make you very cold. Also, make sure you check the weather to make sure it's clear. You don't want to go out there and have nothing. And then go out there, and you don't have to look in any particular spot. Just look at the whole sky in general. But you might want to make note of Gemini because that's where they are coming from. Okay. I think. Oh, make sure you bundle up. Okay. Check the weather. Make sure you adapt your eyes to the dark by not looking at your screens for about 15 minutes, not looking at lights for 15 minutes, and just sort of hanging out in the dark for a little while. Make sure you bundle up. Make sure that if you do have a sky map or something, that you're only using red light to look at it. There are some phone apps. Also, make sure you bundle up and bundle up. It's going to be cold, all right? And that's the Geminid Meteor Shower. So I'm going to be going out that night to see if I can find at least some shooting stars. Now, remember, they come in chunks, okay? Typically, you'll see a chunk here, and then nothing, and then a chunk, and then nothing. So make sure you stay out there. What I usually tell people is at least spend 15 minutes outside. If you don't spend 15 minutes, you're almost guaranteed not to see anything at all. But ideally, you want to spend about an hour outside, as long as you can with the warmth. And make sure that you are staying warm and spending as much time as you can out there. And just look up. Don't get distracted by anything. Just look up. Do a little daydreaming, but pay attention, and you'll see more than you think you would. On the 14th, you might hear some things about a total solar eclipse, but that's in Chile and Argentina, so I'm going to let those people down there talk about that. Okay. Then, of course, on December 21st, we already talked about this, but right around sunset, you've got Jupiter and Saturn. If you skipped ahead in this video, go back to the beginning when I talk about Jupiter and Saturn. But there we go. Definitely bring your binoculars out for that. Then also on the 21st of December is the winter solstice. That's the longest night and the shortest day of the year for the northern hemisphere. Depending, the night is longer if you're up higher in latitude on the Earth, and it's shorter as you get down to the equator. The equator is still 12 hours a day and 12 hours a night. And then lastly, now you notice on the 21st, Jupiter and Saturn are down here, the moon's up here, and you see Mars up here. And what you probably will figure out is that the moon's going to get close to Mars. And that is on Christmas Eve, the 23rd. You'll see Mars and the moon. You got to get out there after sunset, but before 2 a.m. and just find this nice waxing crescent moon in the southeast with a nice ruddy red Mars, only about 5 degrees above it out there. So that's it for the events. Don't forget Moon and Mars on the 23rd. The 21st is Jupiter and Saturn, and the night of the 13th into the 14th is the Geminid Meteor Shower.
Are there patterns in our skies? Are patterns only in our eyes?
And the last part for December is the constellations. Now, of course, skymaps.com has great constellation maps on paper for you to use, but here's something to give yourself a little idea. So if you're looking just about straight up, let's say after dinner, let's say around 6 o'clock, something like that, it should be pretty easy to find the Great Square of Pegasus right here. Nice big square in the sky. It's almost a perfect square. To the left of that is Andromeda. You see it kind of looks like a cornucopia or like a curve. Absolutely beautiful. And if you go, there's 3 pairs of stars here. And if you go to the second pair, and you see the distance between that pair, go the same distance into the curve and the Andromeda galaxy will be right there. So if you're stargazing or trying to see those meteors, you might be able to see that if your eyes are dark adapted enough. It'll be just a faint smudge with your naked eye. And also Cassiopeia is right up here as well. Pretty easy to find. You just have to face a little bit more north. Also, this little right angle here of Cassiopeia points pretty much right to Andromeda. Now, if you fast forward time a little bit to right before bed, let's say 10 p.m., now you're starting to get Perseus is way up there, Auriga as well, and as you move down toward the south, you can see Taurus, Orion, Canis Major if you look low on the horizon, Canis Minor, and Gemini. All of these wonderful, wonderful winter constellations. But closer to the top are Taurus and the Pleiades, a gorgeous collection of stars right there. Then if you're getting out before work, so let's go 5 a.m. Leo is actually pretty nice up there. You've got the backward question mark of Leo with a right triangle to the left of that. And actually throughout the entire night, you can find Orion. I'm going to talk a little more about that later, but I just wanted to show you one thing here. Orion is just rising in the east after sunset. There it is, rising in the east. So as long as you get out there after 7 p.m., Orion's going to be up, that bow tie coming up over the horizon. And throughout the night, it's going to move up and toward the south. By midnight, it's in the south and as high as it's going to be. And then it's going to go set in the west by sunrise. All right. Well, don't forget that you can find this as a podcast on my Podbean page, mrwebb.podbean.com, and Stitcher and iTunes. There's also, the YouTube channel you're looking at right now. And you can also follow me and the planetarium on social media. That's at Mr. Webb PV and at PV Planetarium. Stay tuned. I'm looking to see if I can get some images from inside the planetarium to actually live stream for some shows. The technology isn't quite working with me, but I'm looking ahead. Also, Dr. Joellen McBride will be making another appearance this month as we try to figure out how to look at the night sky from my deck, even though you can't see Jupiter and Saturn from there, at least not now. But anyway, that is it. I really hope you get out for the meteor shower and the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. Best wishes, share pictures, post this stuff. It's really a great time. So here I am wishing you very clear, dark skies for the month of December.